Hello again, everyone. Today I am here to swatch some new to me handmade watercolors from a company called Hungry for Paint. And I believe they're somewhere in the EU, but I have forgotten now where from. I first got turned on to these by Jane Blundell, who I get lots of my paint recommendations from, and this was really no different. I was kind of surprised actually that she had profiled a small independent company. The colors look really pretty, so I went ahead and I actually pre-ordered these, and they took a little while to arrive. First off, shipping took a while, and because they were pre-ordered, they had to be made once they were ordered. I think there was like a batch that was going to be made within a certain period of time. So they finally came, and I figured I would swatch them for you all. So they came wrapped in these cute little paper wrappings, and then they also came individually wrapped in foil, but I did all the unwrapping before I got on here so that that wouldn't take up all our time. And I've already labeled the colors that I have here. The only one that I'm not quite sure about the color is this one, because I cannot read the second word that is on here. Night clove, night dove, night, I don't know. But anyway, that's what this color is. And then as per usual for most companies, they sent a bunch of samples. So I'm also going to be swatching those. And I don't even really know what colors they are because I haven't really looked at them yet. But we will do those after we do the main colors. I'm going to be using my Royal and Langnickel brush today. It is a dagger brush. Again, it's kind of what I had on my desk, so I decided to use it. I'm going to add a little bit of water to each of these. I'm not going to be adding waters to the samples, so we'll see how that goes, just because they have little flaps over them, and I don't want to get everything super messy over here. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to those whole pans, or half pans. And I wanted to let you know that there was also a little card that came with this, with the Hungry for Paint contact info, and then also some tips and safety. Once again, with that tip to put your paints in the freezer if the wrapper is stuck to the paint. I've never ended up doing that, but there were several instances in which I probably should have. But yeah, cracking and air bubbles might occur and are normal, and that's usually pretty normal for handmade paints. And then they came in this little envelope inside the package. So I'll put all that aside. Let's go ahead and put those there. We're going to start with the first one, which is Nimbus. Let me get some more water on my brush. Let me actually pick that up. I can get a good handle on that there. It seems like this is a little bit tough to re-wet. So I'm getting kind of a light color. That could be due to a variety of things. It could be the fillers, not fillers, the vehicle in there for the paint. I doubt many handmade paints would have many fillers. Or it could just be the pigment is somewhat hard to re-wet. This one looks to be a little bit easier. This one is Sunrise on the Road, which really looks more like a green gold, but ooh boy, that is pretty. That is really, really nice. And this Nimbus color is supposed to be light, so it's not, I don't think it's supposed to be much darker than that one. And then we have Coastal Route. Definitely reminded me of coastal drives in California going up to Northern California. The color anyway. Didn't seem, all of these have been a little bit difficult to re-wet, I must say. And this one feels a little dry in the pan, but the color is very pretty. And then we have this Twilight Sky color, and I'll hold these colors up closer to the camera. Kind of glad I put water on these because they probably would have been pretty difficult to re-wet otherwise. That's Twilight Sky. I'm going to add a little bit more. Let me get water, add more pigment there to the end. There we go. And then we have this night one, which I could not tell what the second word was. I mean, I know I ordered these, but it has been so long that I can't remember what I ordered. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. It's almost like a Payne's gray, I would say. I think I was giving you a little bit of a dry sample there. And then this last one, which is called Coffee Stop. This one seems to be re-wetting way easier than the other ones. And this is almost a black, I would say. But the pigment comes off really, really easily. I would say, let's get these up closer to the camera so you can see the colors there. I would say I'm pretty impressed with everything. Coastal Route is maybe a little bit flat, but that's just because I've become so used to pretty granulating watercolors because that's most of what I'm using nowadays. But let's actually see if we can get a little bit more color on that one to see if it makes a difference. Okay. And again, if you keep going over it, at some point it's gonna kind of have the opposite effect. It might actually wipe off the color. But that I think is a little bit better. Hard to tell until they dry, really. This Twilight Sky has some really beautiful granulation going on. This Sunrise on the Road is a really beautiful green gold color. Love it. Nimbus seems to have some really nice granulation too, and it actually seems to be drying a little darker. But this is nice. It's kind of in the vein of a Titan Buff or a Titanium Buff. And then we have Night, which is a very dark but pretty color. And then Coffee Stop, oh, that actually has some sparkle in it, I think. Like I said, it's been so long since I ordered these that I can't really remember. But yeah, that Coffee Stop definitely seems like it has some sparkle in it. And it seems like either a super dark brown or, you know, virtually a black. All right, so let's try some of these samples. And like I said, I haven't wet these in advance, so we'll see how they go. This first one is called Shrub. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad to get it going. I'm going to do smaller swatches of these, just because there's a lot of them. So that's Shrub. This next one is Conch, as in a conch shell. Shrub actually looks really nice. So let's see. This one seems to re-wet fairly easy, but I think it's one that has pink in it, or white in it. Of course it has pink in it. That's what color it is. I suspect that sometimes white makes things a little bit easier to re-wet. That's pretty too. Conch. And these are fairly generous samples. I mean, it's not a huge dollop, but it's not teeny tiny either. I'm leaving them up here so that I can write the names down underneath later on, just in case I want to get any other colors. This is Nebula. I'm gonna get some more water there. That's pretty, really kind of a nice teal. Let's see if I can add more water. These seem to do better with more water. Okay, that's Nebula. And this one is called Tumbleweed. Oops, and I splattered some of that last color. Make sure I have a wet brush. Tumbleweed. This looks like it might be a yellowish brown here. Yeah, nice, nice. All of these are very pretty. So far, that Shrub one at the top is a winner. Then we have two more left. This one is Bald Mountain. This is probably the smallest sample I have. I'm sure that wasn't intentional, just the way it worked out. Oh, really nice. Yeah, that would be a nice color to use for like distant trees or fog over sort of a wooded mountain, maybe. Although it says bald mountain. Presumably that would mean that there were no trees. Okay, and the last one is mint. And again, I suspect this is one with white in it, although this one is proving to be kind of difficult to re-wet. Let's see if we can get it going there. And really the way to avoid this with your watercolors is to try as much as possible to add water to them before you start. I did, like I said, I just didn't do that for these smaller samples because I didn't want to, you know, get water everywhere because there was a little cover on these. Yeah, that one's harder to re-wet. But I will put this up to the camera so that you can see those. These are all really lovely. I really like them. Shrub would definitely be a color that I would get just based on my preferences. This one is conch, which is also nice. It's kind of a coral-like pink, a little bit of orange in there. And then this nebula is actually quite nice. It has some green and blue. I don't know if you can see that. Very pretty. And these two, this one as well, very granulating. This tumbleweed is also very nice. Also very nice. And you can't even see on this one, there's a lot of darker blue kind of showing through. And then this one is Bald Mountain, which when applied thicker seems to have a nicer color to it. Mint is probably the one let down of these just because it was really hard to re-wet, but it does have a really nice soft color, but you can see that it's kind of breaking down. Like I wouldn't call that so much granulation, I would call that more, I don't know, pigment clumping maybe, because the watercolor itself was so pale. But it's still a really pretty tone. I'm pretty happy with the ones that I got, although now upon further inspection, and I don't remember what colors they had available, I probably would skip the coastal route, and I would probably either go for shrub, nebula, or tumbleweed, or a combination thereof, if I were to get more colors, or if I could do it all over again. So this coffee stop had a lot of color. I'm gonna see if I can kind of dilute it out so that we can see what that's gonna look like with more water, because that's probably more how I would use it. I think I'm gonna try the same thing with this one. Might be a little harder because I have a thinner application. Okay. Yeah, that coffee stop is actually quite nice and does have a lot of nice granulation. I would definitely use this one with more water. Let me go ahead, because, you know, this has been something that I've noticed of late, that if I add more water, I tend to like the results more. I'm just gonna pull these out a little bit with water. I'm not gonna go ahead and do all new samples. And when you do this, I mean, you're gonna have varying results because some colors are more staining than others. Like this one looks like it would be pretty staining because it's hard for me to lift it and get it to move around. Same with this coastal route. It probably has like a phthalo green or something in it. And then Twilight Sky. Yeah, that probably would be really nice in a very light application. But yeah, I mean, look at that coffee stop. That looks so much nicer now with all this granulation, and I'm sure that that's what I saw in the sample. Twilight Sky is also really beautiful that way. Yeah, I kind of like all the ones that I got except for that coastal route, and it's still a beautiful color. It just, I don't know, it's, I think I probably have some colors like that. Let me actually, because you can see plenty of the granulation on most of these, but not on Bald Mountain. So I'm going to pull that out too and see if we can see what that's going to look like. with more dilution. Yeah, pretty. A lot of grays. I tend to really like grays. Yeah, that coffee stop is beautiful. I'm really glad that I pulled that out so that we could see. I mean, first off, it was really heavily applied. And second off, you couldn't really tell what the qualities were. Actually, I said I wasn't going to do new swatches, but let's see if we, oh, and my water's a little dirty now. So they're going to be a little bit modified. Yeah. But as far as re-wettability, I've definitely had better for handmade watercolors, but these are definitely kind of interesting. I always like having new and different colors. And it's kind of dark today, but let me try turning the light off so that you're not getting that glare. I think it's probably light enough. It's a little dark though. I'll put this up to the camera a little closer. But I've definitely found that I've gotten more interesting swatches by putting things into like a little puddle of water. So let's go ahead and try that since we have some extra time here. Oh, whoops. I just realized I was getting the pigment off before I did the water there. And like I said, my water is a little bit dirty, so you're not going to be getting the full effect today of clean water. Okay. And these definitely seem like colors that I should probably do some painting with before I make my final decision on these, or form a full opinion on these, because I literally just got these and have not had a chance to play with them yet. Oh yeah, that's pretty nice in the water. And then let's do one more little puddle here for the full size. And yeah, I'm going to try and go with less of that because it definitely seems like a little goes a long way. Yeah, I'm not going to do the same thing with the samples just because for the most part I've gotten a pretty diluted sample for most of these. And you can see the characteristics. But so there we go. Yeah, I think these are really pretty. And I'm interested to see how this one develops. I have a feeling it's going to dry pretty flat, kind of like this did. Just because I'm not seeing any activity going on in that little puddle there. But it's kind of interesting. This twilight sky got really blue. There must be quite a bit of blue in there that's sort of like an undertone. But yeah, that's really pretty. This nimbus actually is very pretty as well. All right, I'm going to turn the light back on before I leave you to see if we can see those a little bit better in the light. Okay. Yes, and when I tilt them, you can see them a little better. Whoa, they're actually really, really pretty. And I think I'm seeing a little bit of color separation in this coastal route. So yeah. So if you look at it here, we're getting some more blue here as opposed to green. So it's getting a little more complex with more water. Very nice. Okay, well, that's all I had for you today. If you're interested in these watercolors, I'm going to put a link to the Etsy shop where I got them down below. I hope to see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel, and feel free to give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.